Hello, U.S. history.
Hi guys, welcome back, you 11th graders. It's 11th grade, right?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
11th graders. Hey, we match.
We do. Look at that.
We're wearing blue.
Both are blue.
That's cool.
That is pretty cool.
So what are we learning about today, Mr. Magera?
So today we are talking about Reconstruction. And Reconstruction is the period after the Civil War, and we're trying to put the America back together again.
So Abraham Lincoln
is dead, but we'll talk about that. Yeah. Ready?
He was shot at a play.
Yeah, we'll talk a little about that. Yeah.
Okay.
So what was Reconstruction? Okay, so this is, as I was saying, they're trying to put the United States back together again after the Civil War.
Yes.
Repair the damage that was done. There's
There was a lot of damage.
Yeah, and this period is called Reconstruction because they're reconstructing it, right? Putting it back together. And there's three main goals. One is to put southern states back in the Union or back in the country. If you remember, they rebelled. They were fighting against the United States. So
Because they wanted the slaves.
Yeah, so they're trying to put them back into the U.S. They also wanted to help freedmen join society. So free blacks, they wanted to help them to become just as equal as whites. And if you think about this, they're going from becoming slaves, owning nothing, being property, to being free people. That's a big transition.
That's
so
insane.
how are they going to help these black people, African Americans?
But are they homeless now?
What?
Because they lived on the plantation, I'm assuming. But now, do they all leave? Like, how do they? And they don't have any money because they were slaves.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Okay.
So yes.
So these are all
And
good
the
questions.
third one, yes, they're going to try to repair damages from the war. Okay, so how are we going to repair the damages caused by war? A lot of devastation. When war happens, always a lot of things are hurt. Yeah?
Let's get into it.
Okay, so first of all, integrating southern states. So this was the first thing. Lincoln had this Reconstruction plan, Abraham Lincoln, the president. Okay, so get mixed up with another Lincoln.
The really tall guy.
Yeah, real tall president. He is, so he's president all throughout the U.S. Civil War, and at the end, he comes up with his Reconstruction plan. And his is very light. He wants to let the southern states come back to the Union pretty easily. Don't punish them too much. Only 10% of people had to swear allegiance to the United States, and they just had to accept the 13th Amendment, which said that black people...
What do you mean 10% had to swear allegiance to the United States?
10% of the South had to swear being allegiance to the Union, saying that they weren't going to rebel again, pretty much.
Why not all of them?
Because that's a lot of people.
To swear.
Yeah.
They actually had to go and like raise their hand and swear.
Yeah. So radical Republicans didn't like this though. They wanted it to be harder. They wanted it to be harsher on the South. The South rebelled. We need to punish them for their mistakes. And remember, a radical Republican are the Republicans who are against slavery but are on extremists. So they want slavery. They want slavery, and then they wanted to do it with no cost. They were all for the Civil War, and they were very against these racist Southerners. Lincoln would be assassinated though. He's shot in a theater. There's a picture of him being assassinated right here from behind by John Wilkes Booth.
A movie theater?
Yeah.
Regular theater?
A regular theater where there's an actor. And he's shot from behind the head. He dies. And his president and his vice president, Andrew Johnson, becomes president. But with his death, the radical Republican plan kind of begins to be used instead. I
thought Ulysses S. Grant was the president.
He would, but he wouldn't become president until after Andrew Johnson.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Lincoln's dead. They come up with 3 amendments to try to help freedmen, okay, so help these freed slaves. The first one is the 13th Amendment, which says slavery is illegal. That, yes, you can't have slaves anymore. And this is one that Abraham Lincoln helps to carry out.
Okay.
The next one is the 14th Amendment, which says all freed slaves are citizens. So if you are a freed slave, you are also a citizen now. So it kept southern states from being like, okay, well, you are technically not a citizen, even though you're a freed slave.
Because if they were brought over from somewhere else.
Yeah, because they keep finding loopholes to try to keep oppressing these blacks.
That's horrible.
Yeah, and the last one is the 15th Amendment, which says that all citizens can vote. So mainly speaking to the black people, because they kept passing these laws that were like, hey, if your grandfather didn't live in America, you can't vote. You have to pass a literacy test to be able to vote. But this says that all citizens, no matter what, can vote. And so these are used basically to give these freedmen their rights, these freed slaves. Yeah.
Well, that's good. These seem like very good amendments.
Yes, so good amendments. And these are amendments to the Constitution, which means they're changing the Constitution, if you remember what the Constitution is.
Oh, I know what these are. That's the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
The KKK.
So we'll talk about that, yeah. The failures of Reconstruction, there were a lot of failures of it. There were many freedmen would remain on plantations as sharecroppers. This meant that their life didn't change. They basically had to give a % of their produce or what they picked to their the people who owned it. So they didn't really even move places a lot of times. They worked the
So
same
basically,
plantation.
it turned from being slavery to you're paying rent now.
Pretty much, yeah. And it might be 2/3 of what you pick you have to give to the plantation owner, and then you keep whatever you have just to buy enough food for your family. So sadly, a lot of freed slaves are not really given as much freedom as you would hope in their lifestyle change.
But they had the freedom to like go to the north, right?
They could, but a lot of them, like, you'd be leaving your family or friends, the money, and there wasn't exactly great jobs in the north either. There wasn't,
So you might be just going to,
exactly, yeah. It might not
Why
be that
leave a
much better.
sure thing, even if it's horrible? Oh, that's horrible.
Mm-hmm. Also, black codes. The South begins passing all these black codes, which basically restrict their political rights. So they make it harder for them to vote. They make it harder for them to run for office. And these basically limit a lot of their freedom, even with the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. The last one is that terror is also used to suppress blacks. So this is the Ku Klux Klan or the KKK starts, where if a black person starts doing something that these white Southerners thought was too much, where they were being insolent, they were being prideful, they would basically use terror to suppress them. So they might kidnap them, kill them. They would lynch them, where they hung them on trees. Basically, to use terror to suppress the blacks, to make sure that these freedmen aren't really getting as much freedom as they are, and they're scared to stand up for themselves.
So is it basically that this Reconstruction era is basically in the South, right? Because everything else is, besides like the stuff about buildings being broken and things like that.
And they're going to do a DBQ too about this, which is going to go a little bit more in detail. But yeah, so that is Reconstruction, okay? And that brings us to
Mrs. Magera's tea time, except I failed at this tea time because my tea time has nothing to do with what you just taught.
Oh.
Well, I googled Reconstruction era and Ulysses S. Grant popped up.
Yeah, he's one of the presidents in the Reconstruction area.
Okay, well, my tea's on him.
Okay, go about him.
So
this is a president during the Reconstruction era.
He was
after Andrew Johnson. So it goes Lincoln, Andrew Johnson, who only serves 4 years, and then Grant serves 8.
But Andrew Johnson only became president because he was vice and Abraham Lincoln died, right?
Yeah.
And then he became president. That's the only reason why he was.
Ulysses Grant became president.
And then Ulysses actually got voted in.
Yeah, and he was... he used to be a general in the Union. Yeah,
that is part of it. He used to be a general, and he was known for being an amazing general. But apparently, he's also known for being one of the worst presidents. Do you know why?
Corruption?
I don't know. I was really sincerely asking you.
Oh. That's really...
It just said, no. The reason, also one of the reasons why he was known for being one of the worst presidents is because there was a ton of rumors about him. There was a lot of rumors that he liked to sip from the sauce, as they said.
He did have drinking issues, yeah. They knew about that when he was a general, too.
Yeah, he liked to, not tea, a little harder than tea. But anyway, apparently he had a drinking problem.
Maybe Long Island tea.
But yeah, so that was a rumor that was happening. But something that I found very funny is Ulysses S. Grant. The S was a typo. His middle name stands for nothing. He actually does not have... You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
It was like Ulysses, ends with an S, but then they accidentally did an S. Like
space and
a space and an S, but he liked it so much that he kept it. But the S stands for nothing. He just thought it sounded good. But apparently he was an amazing general, and that's why he was elected. But he was not. Yeah,
that's
like
good tea.
And that's the tea. We hope you guys have such a great rest of your day.
Have a great day.
Bye.